Hey, welcome back to the channel. Today is Monday. Happy New Year's, guys. From me to you, hoping all your dreams and expectations come true this year. So we had a great time yesterday with the kids and the grandkids. And that's what it's all about. It's about spending time with family. Just getting together. You haven't got to do anything special. It's just being together with each other and laughing and talking about stuff and catching up on what everybody's doing. Because I'll be honest with you that both of my kids' families are very active. Especially my son's, him and his fiancee, the one grandson, he's into everything from sports to, and he's still young, but she's trying to have him get a sampling of everything to see what he likes, and you can tell the kid isn't scared to try something, and that's a big plus. That's the difference between being secure and being insecure. That tells me she's doing a good job of being a mama with it. And my daughter is the same way, She's got one that's already in the workforce, going to college. It's my granddaughter. And then one still at home going to school, and he comes up and hunts with us. And he's turned out to be a very great young man. And then she's got the little rugrat, Olivia, which is my number one fan on my farming channel. And she just goes and goes and goes like the little energizing bunny rabbit. And so cute, comical. But that's the problem, I think between now and what it was like quite a few years ago. We've lost a sense of family somewhere along the lines, okay? And I'm not sure quite why, There used to be an emphasis on Sunday dinners. And Sunday dinners, most often included any family that were in the area, It was off to Grandma's house we go, and then everybody chipped in and made dinner, and then everybody chipped in and cleaned up. And then us kids would go out in the front porch and play, and the adults would sit inside visiting or on the porch, talking back and forth about what's been going on with them and so forth. To where it's not that we don't have time, it's that we don't find the time is the real culprit. It's not up there like it used to be, And I'm not saying on Sundays you need to not work, you need to go to church, you don't need to do crap, all right? But I think what you do need family in your life. And as far as when it comes to God, if you choose to believe, because He gives us a choice, you can talk to Him anytime you want. It doesn't have to be just on Sunday. Okay? But I think we've lost the monarchs. And I think the monarchs were always grandmas. And then every so many years, a new grandma would emerge and become the monarch. And the older grandma would just come along and be able to sit and visit and watch and enjoy it. Great grandma, right? And that's how it was passed down through. But I think the roles have changed with guys and gals. Before, the gals basically run everything. Everything from the groceries to the cooking to tending to the house to, planning out the week, managing the kids, managing get-togethers. And it reminds me of, we have a pretty good sized Amish community in our area. And what they do on Sundays is they go to one of the other person's house. They take turns, and it rotates around, okay? And they get together on a Sunday and they have a service. And then after the service, they split up. The men go outside and talk and visit, and the women are running around in the house getting a dinner prepared for everybody. And a lot of times the kids are running around in the yard, having a good time. And I think, whether it's good or bad, I think that with us getting away from, the monarch female in that household, we no longer have that because everybody wants to be equal. And with saying that, we could dissect the Amish community. Now, what if we had the women that are tending to the house, the kids, the planning, the meals, basically everything, all right? Decide that they no longer are happy doing that because they see the guys outside just visiting and doing nothing. So they want to be like that. They don't want to be cooped up in the house having to work. They'd rather be outside with the guys. And gradually over time, I think role playing has kind of reversed or come to a neutral state of where everybody feels like they're equal, which is okay. But now nobody knows what to do. Nobody knows who to grasp on and be the family monarch that pulls everybody together. Because they've been told they don't need to be in the kitchen cooking, that they can be out on the porch. So now you have nobody in the kitchen cooking, and nobody wanting to be the monarch of making calls and coordinating and getting everybody set up. So, okay, we're all coming to my house this Sunday or this Saturday. We're going to have a big get-together meal. We don't have that anymore. I think that there's a sense of misdirection by our younger people of even knowing what role they're supposed to be playing in all this. And it's very understandable. Because even my generation doesn't know which role to play. I mean, when my kids were growing up, I loved to cook. So I did a lot of the cooking, and I did a lot of the cleaning. And my wife told me, she said, when I first met her, she said, you're not marrying someone that can cook and clean, take care of your kids. You're marrying a farmer. And in the beginning, she could hardly boil water, to be honest with you. But she turned out to be a great cook. Because I showed her how enjoying it can be instead of a chore. That's the big thing is cooking is not a chore. If you make it a chore, then it becomes a negative Ingram, right? But if you enjoy cooking and you find enjoyment in it, it no longer is a chore. Unless you're forced to do it all the time. Because growing up in my household and my grandparents' household where I lived before that, there was no definite rules on who did what other than if it needs to be done, let's get it done, and that way we have more time to do other things. And I can remember on the weekends, I think it was Saturday night, we get dinner and everybody chip together and get the dishes washed. We didn't have a dishwasher. And I still don't have one. To this day, I feel if I have to rinse that plate and scrub it off, why not have it be a little bit soapy and do it right and then rinse it and put it in the rack ta-da, you're done. But I can remember as a kid getting it. We wanted to get things done because Lawrence Welk come on at 7 o'clock. You had the 6 o'clock news with Walter Cronkite. You had the local, and then the 6:30 news came on with Walter Cronkite. And then Lawrence Welk would come on, and we'd all sit and watch Lawrence Welk. And then Hee Haw, I think, was on just after that. So by the time we got everything done from dinner and all cleaned up, Grandma, in between Lawrence Welk and Hee Haw, would make popcorn on a Saturday. And that was a treat to have popcorn. So I'm not saying that it's role playing so much as it is nobody wants to step up and say, be at my house, we're having dinner and we're getting together and trying to coordinate everybody's scheduling so that you can do it. And I think that a lot of people are having issues today because of they don't have a sense of family. They may not touch base with their sisters or their brothers or parents, for months at a time. And you get a sense of being alone. And sometimes that's good for a while because you're trying to prove yourself. But I sure in hell know that knowing that my family is there for me is more important than any accomplishment that I could do. We need each other. We need to have those key people in place that and I think that's where part of the problem is too, is I talk about a lot of, to learn anything, you have to take your time, your experience, and then you gain wisdom, right? So if you don't have the time yet, because you're younger, and you don't have any kind of an experience of what the outcome could or couldn't be, so you have no wisdom on it. With that sense of community, that sense of family, you have the wisdom because you have your parents and your grandparents and sometimes your grandparents with your aunts and your uncles and stuff all guiding you on using their wisdom. And if you're lucky enough, like I was with my grandfather, and I did the same thing with my kids, is instead of telling them yes or no, I gave a reasoning why. I explained why and where I'm coming from and why it's important. And instead of simply just hollering at a kid yes or no. And I think today a lot of kids don't have that sense of family. I mean, how many single moms are out there? Or single dads raising the kids? Even the core group, there's not a sense of family. It's just something that I think about and ponder about. Just curious of what you guys think on that note. So, on other stuff, so what'd you guys do for New Year's? Anybody stay up late? This puppy is in bed by 7:30, quarter to 8, I get up early in the morning. I actually am closer to New Year's morning in the morning than I am at night when I go to bed. But I remember years ago when I was younger, quite a few years ago, where we'd stay up and watch the ball drop, cook chicken wings and the little hot dogs and what do they call them, pig in a blanket or something like that. And it was neat. You make New Year's resolutions that you never kept, right? But that brings us to, we are now at the first day 2024. And if there's anything you ever wanted to accomplish, why not start today? I know you could have started yesterday, but you got a new year, clean slate, let's start today on the things that you want to accomplish. You know, you want to become better at something. How to become better at things? Practice. The more practice we do, and then we have to have a sense of, you can practice all you want, but if you're not practicing the right way, it reminds me of baseball. Everybody always got up to the plate and wanted to hit it out of the park. Hit it out of the park. They thought that meant they were a great player. And I'm not saying for you guys that are into baseball and watching it on TV, that some of your best players that you like the most are the ones that do hit home runs. But to be a good baseball player, one, you have to decide on what position you want. Two, you need to be able to execute everything perfectly. And that comes with time and practice, right? So, and you have to be a sense of team. You're not a one-man band out there. You're part of a team. And the team will either decide whether you win or you lose. The team isn't there to support you per se. You're all together to support each other and that endeavor of trying to win the game, right? When I played baseball, I was a catcher. And I liked the catcher position because basically I was moving the infield, moving the outfield. I knew every batter. I knew what pitches worked, what didn't work. And I would give signs to the pitcher on what I wanted them to throw. But what I can tell you is I did more bunts and got runs home than I did hitting home runs. All I cared about was to get that ball on the ground and allow one of our guys to come in. Or to allow me to get on base so that I could work my way around. I was less, when I first got into baseball, that was my sense was, I got to, shoot for the fence. And I thought that was what baseball was. But I had a good coach. The coach said, taught us good values and good charactership and good sportsmanship. And explained, you are a team. There's no one person that runs this team. You guys got to be a well-oiled machine. And when you win games, be gracious. And when you lose them, show good sportsmanship and congratulate the other team. If you lost that night, it wasn't because you are a terrible team. It's because the other team happened to do better that night than you were. And that's okay. That's in life, You don't have to win every competition. If you set yourself up to win every competition, then you're going to have letdowns. But if you go out and you just try to do your best, sometimes your best isn't going to be up there that night. So if you want to get better at things, you have to practice and you have to know how to practice, Find a mentor. Find somebody that's older that maybe has gotten to where you're looking to be. You want to become a better person. Sometimes that's not as easy as it sounds. Because if you have not so good moral and character, trying to change those bad habits can take time. It's sad that those bad habits crept in, but it's going to take time to get them out, right? If you want to start a business, why not start today? What's holding you back from trying something that you would like to really try. Fear. Fear is the biggest culprit out there that will hold you back. I have what I call, this 5 second rule. 5 seconds. When you think of something, the first 5 seconds are usually the correct answer. Okay? And then after 5 or 6 seconds, your mind starts putting doubt, self-doubt. It's a mechanism in our brain. We all humans have it. Some less and some more than others, but that, trying to keep us out of harm's way, don't try that because you could fail. And if you failed, what would happen? What would happen? Do you know that most successful people in life have failed numerous times? I don't even want to tell you how many failures I've had over the years. But the difference between a successful person and a non-successful person is the successful person took his failures and learned why he or she failed and then tried it again at a different angle. Not the same way. I think Amos said, having someone try the same thing over and over again looking for a different result is basically insanity. And it is. If you try something and it didn't work, then you need to go back to the drawing board and break it down and find out what part didn't work. Because there could be some good parts in there. And then some parts that need to be fine-tuned or deleted and bring in something else, right? There's no better time than this year if you want to start a new business. There's no better time than this year if you want to become a better person. And when I say a better person, I mean a better person to your friends, family, even the person you meet on the street. One thing I learned years and years and years ago, my grandfather told me that. He said, you want to brighten somebody's day? Smile at them. And you watch, even the person having not that great of a day will smile back. And when you smile, it's like endorphins go off. And it gives you a good feeling. And I smile at everybody. I talk to everybody. I mean, it takes me a while to get through the grocery store because I'm visiting with everybody. And I'm lighthearted. And I'm, to the most part, an enjoyable person to be around. Unless you're in a hurry and you don't want any small talk. But make 2024 your year to do and accomplish anything you want within reason. As long as it's not hurting someone, as long as it's not, unethical, illegal, lack of moral values, why not? This could be the year you shine. Or this could be the year that you're learning with your time, your experience, and your wisdom. So in 2025, you'll become that successful person in your eyes. See, each one of us has a different idea of what success is and being successful. I deem success and being successful as having a good family and looking at my kids, which are the best thing I've ever done in my life, and watching them raise their kids with the same values, same moral character that I raised them and my grandparents raised me. That is being successful. Where another person would define successful as, ungodly rich. Never define success by money. I know a lot of people that have a lot of money that are not happy, and they may have been successful at beating down their competition, and they probably did some unethical things which were legal along the way to get to where they're at, you know, I wouldn't deem them successful because they're up there by themselves. Or they got, young chicks hanging off them, or if it's the woman, young studs hanging off them. That's not successful. If I see somebody like that that's got to show me how successful they are, rich, that tells me they're insecure in who they are and why they're even in that position. If you are secure in what you're doing and what you've accomplished, you don't feel the need to let everybody else know what you've accomplished. Period. You get enough from within. You feel secure enough that you don't need to have external responses to tell you how great you are. So on that note, you guys enjoy your New Year's. I got to go down into the shop, get the stove fired up so that it's 17 degrees this morning up here in the North Country. Probably start doing some book work today. It's going to be a quiet day. Clouds off. And then I got to feed the cows this afternoon. Like I say, it's going to be a quiet day. Well, let me know what you guys did for New Year's and what you think about today's topics. On that note, we'll catch you tomorrow.